Hello everybody, welcome to the show today, guys. Trump said get it done. It is official now, guys. This is some of the biggest breaking news ever. Trump, working through his team in Congress, has officially sent off the criminal referrals to the DOJ to get it done. The Department of Justice to criminally charge Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's brother, Jim Biden, for all their perjury, cover-up, scandals, fraud, using taxpayer dollars. Guys, accountability is coming. This is huge. This is the first time that we have seen criminal charges sent to the DOJ for Biden's family. Regardless that they have their preemptive pardons, Trump said it doesn't matter. Get it done. This is huge. Other congressional leaders are saying the Dems who covered up Biden's decline should be banned from public office forever. And I mean, I'm telling you, this is some huge breaking news. It gets even better. SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, has just handed Trump full control of all independent federal agencies. He can now remove anyone over any independent federal agency funded by taxpayers, guys. This is massive, massive wins for the American people against the bureaucrats. And not only that, wonderful news that our seniors are getting ready to see an increase on their Social Security. Trump said, like the other two, tips and overtime, no tax on Social Security is being done also, but in a different form, a large deduction, after which many will have no tax to pay. Thank you. Trump is saying promises made, promises kept, holding people accountable, making sure, guys, that we are going to see justice in America. This is beautiful. Not only that, Tulsi Gabbard, our director of national intelligence, has just declassified records showing how the Biden administration coordinated with big tech, media, and intel agencies to censor Americans and crush dissent. Guys, I'm telling you, every single thing that we've been facing is all being brought to light, guys. It is beautiful. The Oversight Committee chairman, James Comer, says that he, working with Donald Trump, has just sent criminal referrals to the Department of Justice for Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, our former President Joe Biden's brother, for perjury. He said, we certainly are going to investigate. They need to be criminally charged. We are desperately seeking accountability and are going to use the DOJ to get this. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We are seeing justice. Even Representative Tim Burchett says that the USAID was a money laundering operation for the Democrats. Everything is being tied in. We're seeing now why they hated Elon Musk so much, why they tried to block them from getting access to all the federal departments and their data is because it's all been a cover-up, but they're finally going to be held accountable, guys. I love this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching. Thank you to all of our subscribers and viewers. We're truly grateful for your support and helping us to bring the truth out, grow in this family. If you're not a part of the family yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us here at TrueLife News, joining our family to continue growing this community where we are for the facts. America first, baby. We want to thank all of our members. Thanks everybody that gives a super chat donation. Because of your support, we are literally giving more and more every single month to local charities. You see this guy live on stream giving thousands and thousands of dollars every single month to local charities with your support. And I want to give some love to Stacy Jennings, Wendy Govchish, and Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Guys, show them some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, we are living in history right now. Not only has the Supreme Court given Trump full control of all the federal independent agencies so he can fire and hire as he pleases, being the executive president of the United States. We've just had criminal referrals sent to the DOJ. They want jail time for Hunter Biden and Joe Biden for perjury, for lying on Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Everything that happened with the USAID money, all the fraud, waste, and abuse that we have been showing you on this channel, guys, is all finally about to get justice. Because not only that, Tulsi Gabbard has just declassified even worse evidence for the Biden administration of how they coordinated to censor everybody that disagreed with them, and it is getting good because, again, they tried to take out the number one guy, Elon Musk, but Trump said, get it done, guys. Check this out.
Been asking for anyone who will listen for months. What is it going to take to get the things that DOGE identified over to the House so they can actually codify them into long-term cuts and law? Well, apparently, it took Elon doing a CBS interview that's set to air this Sunday.
Boom. You know, I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him. Look, not a great sign when the guy who just landed a rocket upright on a drone that was a barge, by the way, and is implanting microchips into people's brains. If he can't fix the government, he's losing hope? I don't know, dude. This is exactly, though, what I was worried about. They passed this giant bill, and then nothing else happens. And then, thank God for Elon, because he doesn't adhere to any political loyalties. He's just set on this mission, and he's going to break from party.
And remember, Elon Musk has already come out and said that he's not supporting the Republicans come midterms. He is 100% independent, but America first, siding with Trump. The biggest thing that you're about to see next, guys, is accountability. Trump saying, get it done. Get my bills done. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, but also, too, get it done of the justice that you're about to see next when it comes to the Biden administration and their corruption.
Loyalty, do it. That's what that interview was, which I think most Americans are probably vibing more with him these days than the Republican Congress, at least probably anybody who's not on the government dole, actually. But all the elected people who, by the way, stood up and clapped for Elon when his cuts were in Trump's speech in front of the House, those people all ran on not doing exactly what they're doing right now, which is status quo. And throughout this bill, they all came to the camera and said, oh, you know, we're doing what we can. We got what we could in there. There's a process. Nobody else understands. America was like, no. Did you guys not get the memo? We voted against the process. We voted for you to take the process, take it out back, and whoop its butt.
Let's go.
You don't get to be elected on change and then do the same thing after the election. I get tired of watching Trump's agenda just completely get watered down. I know he supported this bill, but I also know that he was not thrilled about the stuff he had to take out of it to get it passed.
I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill. But the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country.
Great, less government stealing my money. Like, I agree. If, and this is a big if, the Senate actually can get their act together and we get the tax cuts, but now we got to cut spending to pay for those tax cuts. Otherwise, nothing matters. And
guys, and again, too, I got to show you this because there's so much happening right now. You think that Trump is not working to get things done for the American people when it comes to Congress, when it comes to justice? Look at this that came out. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer say that he has sent the criminal referrals to the DOJ on Hunter and Jim Biden for perjury. He said, we're going to continue to investigate, but we're desperately seeking accountability from the DOJ. The House Oversight Committee is going after them because they know that now is the perfect time. If you were ever going to take out the Democrats and show people that they are corrupt and fraud and all the ways to the abuse, look at this right now. Democrats' approval rating in Congress has fallen to just 19%. Nobody believes them. Everybody's using common sense, seeing the corruption, seeing the fraud, seeing the MAGA people, the Patriots, I call them the Patriots, are actually putting America first and getting things done. And Trump is saying, get things done. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, we are living through history right now because we're not only getting justice, but Trump is putting America first. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
like Mike Johnson is now reading the room. I don't know how he could ignore it, only after the White House said that, hey, we're just going to send you the stuff that we want you to pass. I mean, that's Congress's job to write those bills. But he said in a tweet earlier, the House is eager and ready to act on DOGE's findings so we can deliver even more cuts to big government that President Trump wants and the American people demand. Okay, I mean, I'm glad he's at least tweeting that he got the memo. And after all, we're still funding the Taliban right now. But because Republicans in the House are so afraid of their own shadow, the White House is skittish about this. So they only sent over a bill that was $9.4 billion in rescissions. The proposed cuts would be trim $1.1 billion from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, $8.3 billion in foreign assistance from both USAID and the African Development Foundation. That should have been going a long time ago. Because those are some of the most egregious spending items that DOGE found. But you want to know why I'm still not happy? The national budget in Trump's first term, okay, of his first year of his first term was $3.99 trillion, basically $4 trillion bucks. All right, this year it's $6.9 trillion. All right, it has increased by almost $3 trillion in 8 years. So, and this is my plea to the White House. So whoever is writing these proposals, I don't know who you are, just in order to even get us back to the 2016 budget level, which there was still a lot of waste and fraud then too. I know because I was in the administration trying.
Guys, you want to see? Because again, I bring you the receipts, everybody. They're catching them left and right. All this stuff, all this trillions of dollars that you are seeing that is being spent, your hard-earned tax dollars, 14 people were arrested in an alleged $25 million COVID-19 relief and small business load fraud scheme. Guys, this is just one of the thousands and thousands of stories that we show you where there is multiple fraud, waste, and abuse. It was too easy. They were handing out money with no oversight, your hard-earned tax dollars with no oversight. And what blows my mind is that whenever we want to give seniors an increase or we want to take care and make sure that we don't have our those on Social Security living in poverty, we can't do it because there's all this fraud, waste, and abuse. Look at that. This is just 14 people that got $25 million. Think about we're in a country of 300 plus million people. Think about all the fraud, waste, and abuse that is happening. But what you're about to see next is so important because when you actually get the context, you see the receipts, this is the truth.
Cut it at the time. At $9.4 billion bills that you're sending over now, Congress would need to pass 308 of them in the next year and a half to get it back down to 2016 levels. And since Congress has only passed, I think, like 12 laws at this point in 4 months, that's not going to happen unless they get serious. I don't want to hear, oh, we're trying. There's a process, whatever. Just do it, guys. And if you don't have the votes, I bet their districts will probably primary them. This stuff needs to get passed because a federal judge on Tuesday just allowed a group of 14 states to sue over Musk's effort to slash government spending. This is why this is so important. But some of our reps are still not getting it. They're running talking points, trying to convince everybody to be in support of this big, beautiful bill like this. This is from Senator Tom Tillis. Democrats want to let the Trump tax cuts expire. We can't let that happen. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. Fine. But maybe you should have thought about that when you made them expire the first time you passed them, because that was all political fodder. You dig? And this person on X responded to Senator Tillis and honestly kind of just said what most of us are thinking. It said, Senator, we voted for DOGE. We want DOGE cuts. The fact that you are incompetent cowards has never been more apparent. The American people overwhelmingly want DOGE cuts. It is a bipartisan issue. What are you so afraid of? Thank you, Internet. Stop dangling shiny things in front of our face and say, oh, look, we got to do this things, guys. Forget about all that other stuff for now. Learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. Maybe, I'm just going to throw this one out there. You could pass cuts and tax cuts and DOGE stuff in the same bill. Would that be too efficient?
Guys, I'm telling you, it's not just stopping here. Everybody is coming out, and we have some people. Look at this right here. Representative Tim Burchett says that USAID was a money laundering operation, and they don't care anymore. Some of these people, the reason that they're not passing the DOGE cuts is because they're afraid they're going to lose their seat. Well, there's some people like Tim Burchett that said, you know what? We have right now to do the right thing, and if we don't do it, we're not going to be able to move forward. What you're about to hear next, guys, is the biggest fraud, waste, and abuse of our tax dollars. It is what the Biden administration tried to cover up. It's what was perjured whenever they were sitting on the stand and they said, oh no, we're not using that for this. No, they have been giving it back to lobbyists. They've been giving it back to contractors in Washington, D.C. Our hard-earned tax dollars have not actually been helping people out. All they've been doing is making more elitists richer. Listen to this.
Same bill? Would that be too efficient? Like 89% of Americans favor auditing the federal government spending.
Boom.
Rooting out the waste, the fraud, the abuse. Americans, if they were given the option by poll, would cut 40% across the board if they had their way. I mean, there's really no excuse not to, other than you guys are either lying to us or some of you might be on the take. And the only reason I reached that conclusion is because the people who are actually trying to get things done are called crazy. Even her own party has called MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, crazy from the get-go. But at least she's doing what she said she was going to do. Earlier today, tweeting, quote, I was just told that we are going to see the first DOGE cuts bill on Monday, 4 and 8 at NPR on the chopping block. And I have not yet seen the bill, but I am passing on what they told me personally. I want to pass DOGE cuts every single week until the bloated, out-of-control government is reined back in. I mean, like, every week, I agree with you. Why not make it every day? Here, I tell you what. Guys, let me write a couple bills for you right now. I bet this would help, because Republicans that do vote against some of these things, they usually do it because they're too complicated, or they got pet projects in them, or they didn't get something for their district. So here's a few that don't, okay? HR, I don't know, XXX1, all right? All federal funding for colleges have to be individually passed by Congress every single year for each individual school. Oh, Carl, that'll make it hard for schools to get funding. That's a feature, not a bug, pal. All right, HR whatever, 2. Anyone over the age of 100 has to show proof of life to receive Social Security every year. Let's attach to that bill, make it 2 subjects. I know I'm pushing my own limit here. There will be no taxes paid on Social Security benefits.
Let's go. And again, too, guys, we bring the receipts. We show you everything. When Trump came out and he said promises made, promises kept, every single time, we want to make sure that we show you exactly what's being said. Like the other 2, tips and overtime. No tax on Social Security is being done also. It's in a different form, a large deduction after which many will have no tax to pay, guys. Anybody making under $75,000 a year that's on Social Security, they do not want paying taxes. We want to cover up the fraud, the waste, the abuse that is happening. But again, too, it's across the board. It is so big. It is so monumental over us actually getting things done with catching these people. Look at this. California gets the largest amount of federal money in the entire nation. California is under investigation by DHS for allegedly providing benefits to illegals. Subpoenas have been issued, and of course, Gavin Newsom has refused to comment. Boom, baby. Tell me we're not holding them accountable. We have Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, who are now being criminally charged by the DOJ for the perjury that they committed on lying about everything that happened in the Biden administration, all the family money and everything that happened with, like, guys, look at this. Everything that happened with the entire Biden family. It's been corruption for as long as you can imagine. He's been in office for over 50 years. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says that he has sent the criminally referrals to the DOJ on Hunter and Jim Biden for perjury. Investigations are finally happening. People are going to go to jail, and it's about dang time, because we even have more evidence, guys, that those pardons, those preemptive pardons, are now void. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support, because we are going all the way. Everybody is jumping in to fight this waste, this fraud and abuse. Check this out.
Rogan, the president put a shot across the bow of Leonard Leo in the Federalist Society. That was like sacrosanct, sacred ground. The Federalist Society that worked with us for the judges and U.S. attorneys and all that. You have followed up and supported the president on Twitter this morning. What's going on?
Well, in full disclosure, I also levied a shot across the bow about a month ago.
once the New Civil Liberties Alliance, the NCLA, which is like a conservative ACLU, filed a lawsuit against Trump to stop his tariffs, right? So this organization, which I will give some credit to, helped overturn the Chevron decision, right? Very, very, very important. And then they followed up with a lawsuit against President Trump to help rectify these rigged trade deals that have hollowed out the middle class for decades, right? And that didn't sit well with me. And I called out the donors of that. And the two biggest donors of that nonprofit are the Coke Industries and Leonard Leo's group, the 85 Fund and Donors Trust. And, Leonard Leo is kind of a behind the scenes guy. For those that don't know him, he's a very powerful man in this country. And he's the head of the Federalist Society, the head of Teneo, which is a big conservative, activist group, and very entwined with the donor class of the GOP movement. And he is largely responsible for all of Trump's major Supreme Court and federal court picks in his first term. But what we've seen is with people like Judge Amy Coney Barrett,
yep,
we got a little screwed on this deal.
Yep.
And now we're seeing
a little,
yeah,
a little,
yeah, but a lot more screwed. And
so, guys, I'm going to go ahead and break it for you. Trump and his team are going to try and go ahead and replace 1 to 2 Supreme Court justices in his presidential term. Guys, this is big, big news. But again, it's because he's trying to get justice for America. It's because he's trying to make sure that they're following the Constitution and putting America first. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. They're talking about Justice Amy Coney Barrett is probably the big one that they're going to try to replace because of how and she has not executed her position like she should have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I just want to say,
here's a lesson: never pick anybody in any position of authority that went to Notre Dame as on the faculty of Notre Dame. I hate to say it, it used to be a great Catholic university long ago. It's a hotbed. It's a progressive mess, and she's a progressive mess. She's right on one topic: life. Everything else in that, she's a disaster. And Leonard Leo, these guys, they're hiding behind. They're not MAGA. They're not populist. They're not nationalist. He's got $1 billion. They're protecting the donor class. And President Trump's had a belly full of it. And this is a shot about this whole thing that's going to come down to the Supreme Court on his Article 2 powers. Folks, everything's kind of coming together now. And that's why President Trump is strategically, getting the chessboard right.
Yes.
The one thing he's got to do is freeze Leonard Leo with that unlimited amount of money that Leonard Leo can come at him behind all these phony groups, right, to take out these attack ads against President Trump's policies. Is that not what we're talking about, DC Drano?
That's exactly what's happening. And, MAGA and the Federalist Society were pretty close, in a close relationship for a long time, but it definitely softened in Trump's most recent campaign. They didn't put much money towards them. Because now we're seeing straight up
they were
lawfare.
Using us. Hang on, because Republicans can't win. Let me be blunt. All the Murdochs, those scumbags at Fox, the controlled opposition, Karl Rove, the Bushes, all of them can't win elections. Certainly can't win national elections. They were all against Trump this time, thought we had no shot to win. They've got no interest in bringing in the Hispanic families down in the Rio Grande Valley in Starr County, Texas, which is 97% hardscrabble Hispanics, that we lost by 60 points in 16 when I thought we did a pretty good job. President Trump won it by 16 points.
Let's go.
A 97% blue-collar Hispanic community. The Hispanic vote's coming our way. African-American men are coming our way. They're never going to come the way of the controlled opposition, Fox News, Wall Street Journal editorial page, Karl Rove, Bush, neoliberal, neocon apparatus. It doesn't offer them anything. The policies don't match. As soon as Leonard Leo realized, and that group realized that, hey, Trump's serious. He's actually serious about these tariffs. He's actually serious about bringing manufacturing jobs back. He's actually serious about closing the border. He's actually serious about deporting 13 million illegal alien invaders.
Guys, and you think Trump ain't serious about holding these dang congressional people in check, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Show some love in the chat. They have now went and arrested a Democratic congressman for harboring rioters in his office, guys. This is huge. Representative Gerald Nadler's, they went in, there was aides, they were trying to protect all these people, but the federal officers were trying to get these rioters, right? They went into a federal building. They were blocked off by Democratic aides, guys. You can't make this stuff up, to Representative Nadler. So then, when the officers attempted to pursue the rioters in Nadler's office, one aide assaulted a federal officer and then blocked entry. Eventually, the officers secured the building, and then they went and arrested them for the assault. Guys, I'm telling you, they are going after everybody. It does not matter if you're Democratic. It doesn't matter if you are going to hinder the deportations or if you're going to try to riot and just cause chaos. Guess what? Your butt is going to jail, just like what you're about to hear next, guys. The Biden family is about to see accountability like never before. I want to say thank you so much, Tammy Ash, for the super chat. Let's go. She said, defund Congress until they start doing their job. We pay them to do. If they don't work, they shouldn't get paid. I don't get paid if I'm out of work. 100%. They just took a whole week's vacation last week. Geoff Poffrey, man, thank you for the super chat. Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the continued support of being a member of the channel. And what's new? Thank you so much for your super chat. Said, thank you, Joel, for bringing us the news with receipts. Awesome channel. I love it. Y'all show what's new. Mr. Norby, Geoff, and Tammy some love in the chat. And guys, let me know your thoughts. Again, we're not going to let up. What we have to show you next is next level on them going after the Biden cover-up. Listen to this.
Not the 35 that have been here forever. I'm talking about the 13 came on Biden's watch. When he's serious about it, all of a sudden they're sneaking around behind the scenes with all these phony front groups attacking President Trump's policies because they don't agree with the policies. Rogan O'Hanley, thoughts and observations.
Couldn't have said it better. What I was going to say, Steve, is, I called him out for the first time, which, I'm a member of the Federal Society. I've loved what they've done for 20 years, but they've kind of strayed from their mission. And they're trying to bring things back to the Mitt Romney, Mitch McConnell era, and that's just not happening. And these, they take a lot of credit for picking the Supreme Court justices, but guess what? Those are MAGA's Supreme Court justice picks, okay?
Amen.
Federal Society didn't
Amen.
win 2016. It certainly didn't win
Amen.
2024. They would have, if it had their way, they would have had Jeb Bush as the great loser to President Hillary Clinton, okay? Those are our Supreme Court picks.
Amen.
And they got watered down by bad advice.
Amen.
And then now it's gone into full opposition mode. And, I'm not going to, poo-poo everything. But listen, when I sent that tweet about Leonard Leo a month ago, I got some calls. Hey, are you sure about that? And I'm like, well, he's suing Trump, who's standing up to China. So what else should I do? Sit back and say, you know what? Let's keep the status quo. This is kind of a fork in the road. And, President Trump is shooting this shot across the bow because what are we facing right now? A judicial coup. And what does Leonard Leo do? He is entangled with all these judges. And so if the judges are turning against Trump, you can't help but wonder how much Leonard Leo is involved in the background and making sure this continues. So unless he starts coming out and publicly disavowing this stuff or making strong moves to rectify this and actually help the people that put Trump in power, the MAGA voters, we have to start asking some serious questions about what his motivations are.
Boom, baby.
This is all positioning this fight on the Article 2 fight that's coming, and it's going to be brutal. Rogan, you're one of the most followed guys in the MAGA movement.
Guys, let me show you this because, again, too, we are catching everything. There's so much that has happened in this weekend. It is insane, guys. But the Supreme Court, if this isn't some amazing news, the Supreme Court has just given Trump the official full control, guys. We're talking full control to fire anybody that's in charge of a federal agencies. We're talking about all the heads of the federal agencies. They can now be fired. The Supreme Court just detonated the deep state's last defense line. In a historic ruling, President Donald J. Trump has been granted full constitutional authority to remove the heads of all the so-called independent federal agencies without cause, delay, or interference. finally about dang time that we are seeing the Supreme Court do what they were supposed to do. If he is in charge of the executive branch and there are agencies that report and are in the executive branch, Trump should be able to fire anybody he wants to. And they finally just gave that ruling, even though there was some that dissented. Guess what? We are getting justice. This is MAGA. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, because what you're about to see next, guys, is accountability at the highest level. The Biden cover-up is getting worse and worse, and we are getting justice for America. Check this out.
The whole country. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich is here. All right, Rob, what do you think when a guy says, I'll have a president in a coma over Donald Trump?
I say that guy hates the American people and hates his constituents and hates even Democratic voters. I mean, shouldn't we all wish good things for our country? And isn't it right to hope that a president, even the one from the other party, can succeed to do good things for his country and good things for people? But that statement sums up what today's Democratic Party is all about. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about America. They just all they care about is winning elections and telling lies. And, you know, the playwright Tennessee Williams said that the only thing that's worse than a liar is a liar that's also a hypocrite. And these Democrats are hypocrites, and they are liars on a monumental scale. And if they have any sense of patriotism or sense of, I should say, integrity, what they ought to try to do now is atone for their sins, admit those lies, and try to do better moving forward.
Well, they can't.
Guys, and it's hilarious. We have to show you, because no matter what, we are holding these people accountable. Right now, Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says that he has sent with the criminal referrals to the DOJ on Hunter Biden and Jib Biden for perjury. The Democrats are losing because they have lied to the American people. They have not been forthcoming. And guess what? Look at their approval rating. The Democrats' approval rating in Congress has fallen to just 19%. Nobody believes them. Nobody supports them. And that's why we're finally getting the truth. Bidengate is way worse than Watergate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Because it's opened up a whole can of worms. If you're admitting to lying and covering up the last 4 years, where did it stop? You just lied about Biden. You just covered up Biden. You didn't cover up and lie about anything else. I mean, it looks like everything was a lie or a cover up. Doesn't that justify us just doubting everything they say?
No, I don't think you can remotely give any credibility to pretty much any Democrat who talks about anything these days based upon their history of lying. Even the act of forcing Biden off the ticket was an admission by the act itself that he wasn't capable, he was not of sound mind to be the president of the United States. What they should have done then, for the good of the country, frankly, was invoke the 25th Amendment and have Kamala Harris president. On the other hand, maybe that wasn't for the good of the country. Maybe we're better off with a brain-dead Biden as president than her. But the fact is, they just keep lying and lying and lying, and they keep telling us things that we know are simply not true. And when they told us Biden was fit, we could see with our own eyes that they were lying and that he wasn't.
Well, you just made a great point. They'd rather have a comatose Biden than Kamala Harris.
Right. Right. And, you know, these lies about President Trump, it's all they've got. I mean, frankly, no one has been more lied about than President Trump by these Democrats over the last generation, since 2016, 2015, when Trump came down.
Guys, look at this, guys. You cannot you can't deny this. That the Democrats now are all saying, you know what? Okay, it was a cover-up. It was a cover-up. But again, too, there is now congressional leaders in the House of Representatives and senators and Senate that say if you were part of the cover-up, you should be banned from running for office or holding office for the rest of your life. This was treasonous. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I agree. They should never be allowed to hold office again for this, allowing somebody who is not cognitively there to actually be the president of the United States. John Reppy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, I've been MIA but back and still as patriotic and appreciative as ever to you all. MAGA, let's go. Y'all show John some love in the chat, as well as Fred Samuel, which I posted in there, brother. It happened in Lower Manhattan office. And thank you so much, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, with the super chat. Let's go, brother. He said, one would think we are all in these Democrats scooting their rears on the new carpet like a dog, thinking they will not get caught ripping off the taxpayers the way they've been doing. Let's let their heads roll while being in handcuffs. Dems lose. 100%, guys, because it gets even deeper. So many people are confessing. The thing happening with Jake Tapper and CNN is hilarious, what I got to show you in a moment.
Elevator. They're not talking about anything that matters to the American people except going after Trump time and time again with all these big lies, whether it's Russian collusion, Stormy Daniels, all these other things that have already been litigated, and all those fake crimes that they brought against him. No, I think the Democratic Party is in serious trouble because nobody who has any common sense could believe anything they say. And the king of the Democratic liars is Adam Schiff. If there was a Hall of Fame for liars, like there is, let's say, a rock and roll Hall of Fame, Adam Schiff would be Elvis.
Shifty Schiff, guys.
Absolutely, first ballot, no question. You mentioned atonement. What does the atonement process look like for Democrats besides saying we screwed up?
I wouldn't say they have to necessarily put a hoodie on, but they ought to borrow a page from John Fetterman and try to find common ground in ways where they can work for their constituency back home and find ways where they can work with the president from the other party and stop just spending all their time, MF and Donald Trump. Put the people first for a change. Forget about the politics. Get things done for your constituents. The politics will take care of itself.
Do you think they can reach across the aisle? I mean, Gretchen Whitmer was in the White House the other day, and she went like this. The photographer aimed at her.
You know what? What I've learned about politicians, Jesse, in my experience, is most of them are spineless. They have no backbone. You can carve out of a backbone, out of a chocolate eclair. Teddy Roosevelt said, more backbone than most politicians have. There are some that have it. But most of these Democrats are pretty much without backbone. They're cowards, and they're afraid to upset that energized lunatic fringe of the party. And so they are fearful that anything they say that looks like they are cozying up to Trump could be a problem. At some point, they ought to do what they tell their voters that they're going to do, and that is stand up for something and do what's right for the people, because we elect them to make judgments for us. And when you can work with the president for the good of your constituents, that's your job. And when you don't do it because you're afraid of some lunatics in your party, then you ought to not be in that job and you ought to go do something else because you're a coward.
All right, you just don't want them dressing like Fetterman, please. Tell me you're not advocating no dress code.
No,
because I don't want to see Debbie Dingell in gym shorts.
You know what? If they poll that and do focus groups and somehow someone says that works, she'll be doing that.
You're not
Guys, let me show you this, because again, too, everything is happening. I'm like, man, I feel like if there's ever been a day where all the corruption is falling down, is being disseminated, guys, look at this. Tulsi, they declassified records showing how the Biden administration coordinated with big tech media and intel agencies to censor Americans and crush dissent. It's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to see it happen. It's one thing to even say and have some evidence. But whenever you declassify the actual evidence full through, guys, it shows that the Biden administration was using our taxpayer dollars to give money to these big tech companies to censor you and me. There were conservative voices, guys. How horrible is that? Jamie O'Connor, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show some love to Jamie in the chat. Congress right now has got to change. And what you're about to see next is one of the people who's actually called out everybody and said, guess what? Them Democrats have been using USAID to launder money. Listen to what he says next, because we're about to see history in the making, guys. Check this out.
Congressman Tim Burchett. Good to see you, Congressman. Thanks for being here. So this is the real question. How do you codify all those cuts that DOGE came up with? Next week, you have OMB Director Russ Vought coming out to Congress, giving you a $9.4 billion package for rescission to get some of that money back. Do you think those rescission packages, maybe including impounding, will eventually add up to $175 billion?
I think it'll add up to a lot more than that. And the problem you have is Congress just needs to get some guts.
Ooh.
The reason we're not doing NPR, defunding them in public television is because they don't think the bill will pass. You don't have enough Republicans with the guts to put their money where their mouth is. That's the bottom line. It doesn't get me a lot of friends in Washington, but that's the truth. We talk real tough. We come home to our Reagan Day and MAGA Day dinners and Lincoln Day dinners, throw the red meat out, and then we vote our country down the path every dadgum time. And they ought to put a medal on Elon Musk's dadgum chest. The guy did great work. A lot of the things we're seeing is I have a bill to defund the Taliban. We send them around $40 million a week of yours and my tax dollars. State Department have a memo, about a 5-page memo, says it's close to $5 billion total. And yet it's like pulling teeth. It's been over a year since I could get this through Congress. The reason why? The NGOs, non-government organizations, we have close to 1,000 that are working out of Afghanistan. And the money, where did Elon tell us the money was flowing? Right back to Washington, and it's possibly going into politicians' pockets. And it's, in the past we've seen this thing going back into campaigns.
Guys, did you hear that? Like, I'm telling you, the reason they hate Elon Musk so much is the statement that Representative Burchett just said. The money that we're sending, $40 million over to the Taliban each week, every week, guys, $40 million in hard taxpayer cash. We're sending billions of dollars to NGOs. The NGOs are then sending it back to politicians, filling their pockets so that they can send them even more. Because those people overseas, if they can get $10 million out of a huge $1 billion bill and say, hey, because they're not going to get it anywhere else besides the United States. This right here is Burchett calling everybody out, saying exactly why we're $37 trillion in debt. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Man, this is insane. If you appreciate this exposure, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
But it's on both sides of the aisle. If you got a Republican doing it or a Democrat, dadgum, I hope they put them in handcuffs and take them out of the Capitol. I will cheer that day.
Every Republican loses the right in my book to say we have a spending problem, not a revenue problem, because they're not doing anything about the spending. $150 billion cut per year covers the interest on our national debt for a month and a half. That is it.
Correct.
And any money that we borrow, I don't believe in the justice of government spending money, whether it's my money or whether it's borrowed on my back, because you're siphoning money away from an opportunity in the hands of somebody like the next Elon Musk. You are siphoning away from private industry that opportunity, and ultimately it will drive up interest rates for everybody, credit cards, home mortgages, and it will also cause people's taxes to go up, because the middle class will end up bearing the burden of all of this, and nobody has woken up to it. Final word, Congressman.
I couldn't agree with you more. Where you and I are on the back row at the Baptist church yelling amen with our hands in the air. Again, we're trying to spend ourselves into prosperity. We talk real tough, but when the doors are shut, when America can't see, the only color we see is green. We're spending our great-grandchildren's money. We borrow everything we've got right now. All the money we sent to Ukraine, I didn't vote for any of it. But every dadgum dollar has been borrowed. Imagine that, over $200 billion. Every 100 days, we add up another $1 trillion in debt. That's how big it is.
Guys, think about it. You just heard what he said. Every single dollar that we give away to another country, we've got to borrow it. We borrow money to give to other people because we don't have it. That's, if you're talking about the worst financial illiteracy that our Congress people may have within their minds, it is literally what we're living right now. You and I would never go, and for every single thing that we pay for in life, you can't, and not work. Imagine a person not working and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to borrow money from the bank anytime I need to, every time I need money. I'll just go get a loan. Never work, never get a job, never actually do anything, but that's literally what we're doing right now. Congress doesn't do anything besides spend our hard-earned tax dollars and borrow money to give to other people, and then we've got to pay the interest on it. It makes no sense.
Congress needs to get some guts. People need to get energized and realize and quit passing these monstrous 3,000-page spending bills. We need individual spending bills like we do in Tennessee. That's why we have a dadgum balanced budget, and the politicians answer to the people. Washington, D.C., we don't answer to anybody except the K Street lobbyists, and that's why we're in bed with them. That's why China's in everything, because we don't have the guts to cut anything.
Congressman Tim Burchett, great to see you, sir.
Thank you. You hear that, guys? Again, there are some pit bulls, which I love, that are not afraid to call out everybody. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Right now, we are exposing everybody right now, especially with all these stories that are coming up like this. 14 people arrested in alleged $25 million COVID-19 relief and small business loan fraud scheme. That's just one story that we bring and we show you. We have it where this is the big news, guys, of today. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has officially criminally referred Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, not Joe Biden, the president, but Jim Biden, to the DOJ to arrest them, charge them, hold them in contempt. Why? Because they perjured themselves, they lied under oath, and we need accountability, especially when it comes to the auto pin scandal and how the Biden administration was run. Want to say thank you so much. What's new for the gifting 10 TrueLife News memberships? Let's go. If you got a free membership from What's New, show them some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. I'm not going to read that out loud because it's a little bit too much, Andy. But guys, y'all check out Andy super chat. Chip Trap, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, no wonder I spent so much time in social media solitary confinement. They censored everybody. Thank you so much, Nadine Jones, for the super chat. Said, nonstop robbing Peter to pay Paul every day, all day. And thank you so much, Mr. Furley. Said, thank you, Joel. We love you. Hey, love you too, man. Hey, y'all show Mr. Furley some love in the chat, as well as G Lane for the super chat. And Andy, again, for the super chat, said, injecting them with HIV sick monster. Guys, let me tell you this. If we're not exposing everything and everybody right now with what I'm about to show you next, we don't hold anything back on this channel. There are people that are now, everybody's calling out and saying, you know what? What happened with the Biden cover-up? Everybody needs to be held basically to the point of you lose your job forever of running for an elected office or holding an elected office. And a lot of people are starting to say that's what needs to happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments when it comes to the Biden cover-up.
The focus should be, who the hell was it in the White House and who the hell was it within our government that knew Biden was debilitated to that degree and did nothing and said nothing and was pushing for 4 more years? I'm not one of those people, Chris, that felt like once Biden announced, guess what? He should leave office immediately, that he was so gone, so incapacitated, he didn't have all his faculties and all. I don't believe that for 1 second. What I'm saying is, if you knew he was debilitated, what I'm looking at was y'all in the state capitol chanting 4 more years when he was giving his State of the Union address. I'm looking at you pushing him to be in office from the time he was 82 until he was going to be 86 years old. I'm looking at you pushing for him to be in office in 2024. What are you trying to say? What you were really hoping is that the man wins the election and then whatever happens to him and Kamala Harris could be in as the president. Oh, well, if that's what you were wishing, what you're saying is you didn't have faith that she could run on her own and win a primary like she couldn't do in 2020. Yeah. And so if that's the reality, you're basically guilty of everything you've accused the Republicans of doing, which means I don't want to hear a damn thing they have to say, because that's inexcusable. If you're going to be up and try to stand on some moral high ground, then have morals, have principles, because that's what you say in the other side act, but you didn't do it yourself. I want to know who the hell knew. I want to know how much they knew. If they were an elected official, if they were a part of the administration, I think they should be banned from public office for life.
Yes.
I like it. Won't happen, but I like it. It would be...
Guys, but do you see that, though? This is accountability. Like, this is the type of stuff that when we look back and we say, okay, what is actually happening? with our Congress. Who is being held accountable? Right now, people are seeing that nobody trusts the Democrats anymore. They have the lowest rating in polling history when it comes to, do people believe that they are for America? This is on CNN, guys. Again, what I love is, and I've told you this, we don't care where the truth comes from. We're going to show you what's actually going on right now. And what I love, too, is that there's a consensus of what you just heard. Nobody believed that Kamala Harris could win. That's why she lost the primaries big time in 2020. And that's why they didn't want to primary her last year, because they knew that if she was to run up against anybody else, she would lose in a heartbeat. But listen to this, because again, we bring the facts, guys. The American people, we the people, are telling Congress what needs to happen.
How Americans sort of see the parties. Which party is better described as the party with strong leaders? Look at this. Wow. 16% of Americans say Democrats, 40% say that of the Republican Party. Now, overall, no party's doing great. Lots of Americans say neither of these qualities apply to either party. But look at how much worse off the Democrats are. A party that gets things done. Only 19% of Americans say that about the Democrats. 36% say it about the Republicans. In fact, the only place that the Democrats are numerically ahead, party of the middle class, this is basically a tie, though. Yeah. 34% say that of Democrats, 32% say that of Republicans. But this, I think, is the most fascinating. How do partisans talk about their own party? Right? So among Democrats and Democratic leaners, 32% say Democrats are the party with strong leaders. I mean, of their own kind, right? 82% of Republican leaders say that about the GOP.
Let's go.
Only 41% of Democrats say they're the party that gets things done of their own kind. And I will just say, 51%, Manu, a majority of Democratic and Democratic leaners say neither party gets the party that gets things done attribute. Imagine that's the project that Democrats are working on.
Yeah, and beyond the issues here, there's some structural problems with the Democrats as well.
There are. And again, this is where we ended up on election night in 2024. This is by county.
Guys, look at that map. Look at how red that map is. Now, I know, of course, in the Midwest, you don't really have a lot of people, but still, look at all of Florida and Texas and the East Coast. Isn't it crazy how close we still get in an election when the map looks like this, of how red this is? Let me know your thoughts, because again, too, I just don't believe that the Democrats do as well as they do. We already know that they try to import voters. We know that they try to bring in people from other countries, give them temporary citizenship, then make them citizens like a couple years later. It's all a big scheme. But again, too, we go back to what's going to happen to the Biden administration now that we actually have the people being criminally charged and referred to the DOJ to put their butts in jail. Listen to this.
Joe Biden reemerging at a Memorial Day event 4 days after Memorial Day, and his brain still cooking with no oil. He insisted he would have won re-election and got real up close and personal with reporters. And paging Dr. Jill, your testimony's needed. Trump was asked by the press if the doc should testify about her husband's decline while he was president.
Let's go.
Do you think that Dr. Jill Biden should also have to come in and testify about what she did or didn't do?
Well, I hate the concept of it. It's the wife of a man who was going through a lot of problems, and everybody that dealt with him understood that. And I guess it came out during the debate loud and clear. That was the biggest signal of all. They have to do what's right.
By the president, Greg, would you have shown Dr. Jill and her husband that much grace?
I don't know, man. Dr. Jill is like a dog who keeps digging up an old bone in the backyard and trying to bring it into the house. She's like, you know what? She's like the manager of Elvis Presley during those last days. Maybe I can just squeeze a little bit of money if he can just remember the words to Hound Dog. You know, I love how every time they go up to this old guy, he always resorts to some kind of violence, you know. Oh, my critics, I can beat them all up. Dude, you got your ass kicked by stairs. You know, imagine if this guy had somehow managed to cross the finish line, if they taped duct tape this collapsing corpse together? Well, you don't have to imagine it. He's right there. And he says, watch me. You know, we spoke up, but all those people, these dopes that are interviewing him, asking these questions like, oh, you're so fawning over him is so grotesque. And they say they were duped. When I see Joe Biden, I don't see Joe Biden. I see the legacy media. I see Hollywood, academia, the people that put their power before authority. Last word, Biden complains that politics has become so bitter. You know, maybe he doesn't remember the things he said because he doesn't remember what he had for breakfast. He, in front of troops, said, you know, he targeted troops over political beliefs. You know, he branded millions of people as extreme and dangerous, not just the leader, but the supporters. Now he says, I want to unify. The guy put people in boxes, figuratively and literally.
I hate to say this, Katie, but Greg does have a good point.
Oh, thank you.
You'd think you'd have this opportunity with the former president after all of the stuff that has come out. And these lame, limp questions. That's what perpetuated the cover-up in the first place.
Johnny would never answer.
He would never hit him right between the eyes.
He would, and then Joe Biden would threaten to beat him up, and he would have to get a restraining order.
I'd say, please do.
No, we love Johnny. Please don't beat him up. For a guy who was at the beach all the time, he sure is out a lot now. I mean, he's out talking to reporters. I can't imagine Democrats like this. My advice to him would be, and to Dr.
Guys, this is so crazy that when we look back that we had a president, that we have now Donald Trump and what he does and how he executes things compared to what Biden was. It's not even the same. There's not even in the same galaxy. I want to say thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Thank you so much, Carmen Flores, for the super chat. We appreciate you so much. Y'all show Andy and Carmen some love, as well as Michael Wilson, who said they need to get it done. No holding back. 100%. Y'all show them some love in the chat.
Jill, to be get your story straight, because this could have all been avoided if there were more transparency over the past 4 years. You bring the doctor out to the press briefing, you let him answer questions from reporters, even if they ask bad questions, at least you're showing that you're willing to answer them. There's still no answers about big historic things that happened during the election, including the president dropping out of the race. They posted a letter on Twitter, and the president of the United States didn't come out to talk about it until 24 hours later. I mean, who signed the letter? Who wrote the letter? Who posted the tweet? I mean, these are things the American people deserve to know, especially because Democrats for so many years were subverting democracy by going against President Trump with all this deep state, strategy. And yet when it came to President Biden, we have no transparency about really big things that voters deserve to know about the president.
What would you have asked him in this moment?
Joe Biden, dementia, cancer notwithstanding, is an awful person.
Yeah.
He's been an awful person for 50 years. I want to be sympathetic. I've said I want to be sympathetic, but it's all gone. The guy tried to destroy this country. Yes.
And his corrupt Secret Service is what got Trump shot. Over to you, Sean.
Okay, well, I'm going to be optimistic in that I will be very interested to see what the Senate and the House do if they actually get anybody to come in. No subpoenas yet. I don't know if they go there. But when President Biden says they should have run against me, Dean Phillips, who was a congressman at that time, was the only one who stood up and said he should not be running. He actually tried to mount a primary run against him. That's just one of the things that is covered in Original Sin. And that book has some other stuff. An aide told them our whole idea was we just get him elected and then he can hide for 4 years, which begs the question then, who was going to be running the country if that was your plan? And also you have cabinet officials, secretaries, saying that they were shocked when they saw President Biden, that he was his mouth was hanging open, he was disoriented, he didn't know what he was doing, which to me begs the question, was there ever a discussion of the 25th Amendment? These cabinet members told those authors, we didn't think he was capable, some of them, of taking a 2 a.m. call. He had the nuke codes, he was the commander-in-chief. I think everybody has questions. And when he shows up, it sparks all of them again, and Democrats then have to answer the question, did you see something? What do you think? And all the 28 contenders are gonna have to answer those questions, chief among them, the former vice president.
Guys, if we are not about to see, I want you to listen to this, because again, too, the truth is just coming out, and the Democrats are at 19%. Guys, 19% approval rating amongst their own party, guys. Listen to this, because we got to show sometimes where our boy Scott Jennings just lays out the CNN news reporters over the facts of why they are losing so bad right now. Let me know your thoughts, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is so funny. Check this out.
Democrats have to stop being against Donald Trump and start being for something.
I'll defend the Democrats. They are for things. Illegal aliens. You're for boys and girls sports. I mean, you are for things. And that's why you have such struggles right now in your party, because you're not for anything that's on the right side of any of the 80-20 issues that are driving this cultural divide in America. I think Westmore's actually a pretty talented communicator. The other person who spoke in South Carolina, Tim Walz, is this special mixture of extreme buffoonery and a mean spirit, which is a toxic brew. He is not the future of the Democratic Party. More is interesting, probably more interesting than some of the radicals you have out there, Crockett, AOC. I mean, those are the true leaders of your party right now, but it'd probably be better off replacing them with
true, and I'm not going to even let you say
that. Guys, I love it. If you appreciate that, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Want to say thank you so much for your support. Thank you to all of our viewers, all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our True Life News family here. We want to serve you every day with the top news. And thank you so much to everybody that likes these videos, shares our videos, helps us grow this community. We can't thank you enough. If you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so, supporting us. We really appreciate it. I want to give some love to our members of the channel. Your continued support, guys. We are growing so much in this channel, and we're growing our giving, and that's what truly matters. We are literally have been giving more and more every single month. With your support, this last month, we're giving over $3,000 live on stream to a local children's home. And this month, it's going to be even more. I just know it. But I want to give some love to our members. Give some love to those that have given today, guys. Y'all have been amazing. Want to give some love to Tammy Ash, G.L. Poffreman, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. What's new? Let's go. Y'all show what's new some love. John Reppy, Fred Samuel, Jamie O'Connor, Andy, thank you so much, brother. Chip Trapp, Mr. Furley, Nadine Jones, G Lane, Michael Wilson, Carmen Flores, True 3 Detective. Let's go. Said, for being a professional ventriloquist, you'd think Joe would have gotten a better looking puppet. Oh, snap. Dang. Y'all show True 3 Detective some love in the chat, as well as Candace Luther for gifting 5 True Life News memberships, growing the True Life News family, guys. Y'all are amazing. Don't forget to thank What's New for growing the family as well with 10 True Life News memberships. Guys, it means the world to us whenever you support us. When you're giving to our channel, remember, your super chats and memberships go to the giving that we do online on the 22nd of every single month. We are changing lives, guys, through your support. We love you. We thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.